Boom, hello and welcome to the Executive Protection Lifestyle Podcast, Season 3. With your host, Byron Rodgers. This podcast is dedicated to the executive protection practitioner, the private security professional. In this podcast, we're going to talk about the mental, emotional, psychological, physiological fitness that goes into being an efficient and effective executive protection agent. Whether you're in law enforcement, whether you're a mom that's looking at how to protect her children, or a father that's focused on how to protect his family, I believe this podcast has something for all of you. We might even get into some tales from the crypts of true Hollywood stories from time to time. I'm doing this podcast because I feel the reality of this job is simple. If you really want to be good at executive protection, it's more than just a job. It really is a lifestyle. And those of you who've been in the game for any serious amount of time, you already know what I'm saying is true. So if that sounds interesting to you, enjoy the show. Out. Tonight we've got a special thing going down. I'm doing a live recording over on YouTube with Christian West and Pablo Monasterio on the EP forum. We're about to have a whole conversation. Let's see here. We're telling everyone. So Instagram's just now coming in. We can just let that simmer right there. Give everyone a few minutes to come in and everything else. But other than that, how was the day, gents? How's everything in your world, Christian?
Well, my world is pretty good. I mean, we're starting to get really, really busy with my new venture here, EP Access. We really get traction. We have a lot of people running through our courses. We're producing a lot of new courses and doing a lot of new things. So the days are busy, The days are busy. So it's a good thing. And, about a year ago, I relocated out here to Las Vegas. And people always told me that October, November was the best days in Vegas. And I got to give it to him, man. The weather out here is great. The climate is perfect and all that stuff. So all in all, really, really good.
That's what's up. Yeah. Real quick, for those of you joining me on Instagram, we are doing a live recording over on my YouTube channel. I've got Pablo and Christian West over here. Join us. We're going to be talking about something big that's coming to the executive protection industry. We just warming up. We just unwinding. We're letting everybody get on the chat right now. How about you holding up over there? Pablo, how's life, my man?
It's pretty good as well. I've been recording with Christian for EP Access as much as I can. It's been fun. I've just finished also my content for the league, which I just sent 2 minutes ago. You got the link in your email.
Really?
Yes. And we had a huge event in Mexico. We had the EP Summit.
Yes.
And it was very interesting to have you and Christian in Mexico talking. It's built a lot of buzz. A lot of people have been talking about it. We just got a report of all the noise that it made on social media, and it was amazing.
Yeah.
So we're definitely going to do that again next year. We need to figure out how we're going to break the mold again.
Heck yeah. Hey. That's what we do.
I would love to be there in person next year. So
absolutely.
Please
still, that was the first time we've ever done, or anybody in the security industry has ever done, a remote conference. Of course, it worked out because you have that professional studio recording. Recording at your office, and I mean, the internet played nice. The technology played nice. We had no glitches. I was
I was expecting.
I was laughing before
he always shows up at some point.
Well, I was laughing before we jumped on this call because, like always, I struggled to make this work, and I just spoke via internet and satellite and God knows whatever in Mexico City from Las Vegas about a week or two ago. So it's kind of embarrassing that I can't figure out how to run this, but luckily somebody else could. So good stuff.
No, man. You're coming in clear. Solid. Let's kick this thing off. So check it out. Instagram, join myself and Pablo and Christian West over at my YouTube channel. Link in bio. Scroll to the bottom. You'll see YouTube. We're going to have an interactive conversation. We're going to be checking out you guys' comments. I'll probably keep this up in case I see something interesting come over it. But if you guys want to really join the convo, join us over on YouTube. So, boom, guys, what's up? What's up? Welcome to another episode of the Executive Protection Lifestyle Podcast. It's always an honor to do these things. It's an honor to contribute. For those of you just tuning in, we've got some amazing guests. I've got Pablo Monasterio here with me. He's the man in Mexico when it comes to executive protection. Join us on YouTube, y'all. If you haven't heard of him, I tell you the way I was introduced to him. Ed Calderon came up to me during the Protector Symposium, the very first Protector Symposium. And he was like, this is the man in Mexico. Ed Calderon told me this. So I was like, oh, okay, all right. I was like, this is like, this is the King Koopa of Mexico. So awesome, man. So, since then, we've been taking over the world together. He's been behind a lot of our Protector Symposiums and just supporting us and helping us meet those missions. So it's been an honor. He helped us with, bring Lieutenant Colonel Grossman to this last one. I've been to AS3 driving training twice. I think that should be annual training for anybody who is in the executive protection industry and is serious about, being able to perform, right? Do we practice our pistols once every couple of years? Do we practice our combatives once every few years? No, and we don't use those every day. We use cars every day. So, and I don't care what your background is, you drive, you need to go to that training, AS3. So check that out if you're looking for good drive training. And then obviously we got Christian West, the man, the myth, the legend. Anyone who's been in the industry knows who he is. It's been an honor to be connected with him. He's been doing some amazing things with regards to EP Access, which is an online learning platform for those in the executive protection industry. Join me on my YouTube channel to join the conversation. And that has been changing the game, changing the way we learn, right?
We're getting there. We're getting there. Yeah, but you're doing a good job, man. It's clean. It's clean. I think it's amazing that I think professionals are starting to value digital learning platforms now, a lot more. Because there's really big advantages, especially for how busy we are. Go ahead. It's really funny because like everything in executive protection, and I guess a lot of niche industries and whatever, right? We do what we were taught.
Yep.
But if you go out and look at the science and the common knowledge and what's now basic understanding on how we learn best and how we absorb information, the way that we do training today is not up to speed.
It's backwards.
Let's just put it like that.
Yep.
We need to step into the next generation, training-wise, just like we're the last 10 years has done with our agents and the way we work. And I hope that I can contribute with that. So it's interesting. Let's put it that way.
It is, man. And that's one of the things I get asked all the time when I'm doing my presentations for my online learning stuff for EP2 is they're always like, well, can you teach someone EP over the internet, or what are the advantages? I'm like, the advantages are huge. You don't have to stop working. You don't have to stop making money. So whatever course you were going to go to, add the amount of money you're not going to make to the tuition. And then, and then you got room and board. You got travel expenses.
Oh, yeah.
You got all the expenses go through the roof. Your earning power goes down drastically. And then you have one event, one flashpoint of learning. And you need to get that flashpoint to sustain you over the course of your career. It's just not really it's not really realistic. So with these digital courses, the access you have.
And you got to remember that the online does not take the exercises away. Right? The exercises still need to be there. You still have to practice what you learn, right? Just like you do in the classroom. Absolutely. It is really the exact same thing. It's just a mindset that you got to get over. But that's a different.
It's a whole different podcast.
I can get really passionate about this and keep talking about it forever, and then we don't really get anywhere.
But I can tell you something on top of what you just said. We did a test with EP Access so that people would go through the classroom part of the training before they got to the track. So they went onto the platform, they did the training, they went through the little quizzes that you get. Well, the amount of retention that people had when they came to the track and they actually got behind the wheel was way better than if I stood in front of them and talked to them for 2 hours straight before they got there. Plus, they got a lot more time to practice when they were at the track. So it works, right? You have to understand when you're training. It's very important that you that you feed both sides of the brain. You have to create knowledge and you have to create skill, and those have to be they have to make sense to each other. And that way your skill is going to last a lot longer because it's going to be consciously performed every time. You're going to be able to reach into the back of your brain and bring it back whenever you need it.
But you can look at it like this. Out of the three of us, I would probably by far be the slowest learner in a classroom, meaning that when we came out and was behind the wheels at your training, Pablo, I would start up slower than the rest of them, right? Meaning that I would probably hold the rest of the class back a little bit because I would use extra of the instructor's time and I wouldn't get the same amount out of it, right? But once I get it then and you kind of get through it, then you become equal. But if I can learn it 2 days before online, practice it, think about it, maybe take the test a couple of times and stuff like that, I would come in at the same level as you guys, right? Yeah. And all of a sudden the whole class get to do, if it's an 8-hour class and you normally would be in the classroom 2 hours teaching my dumb ass, you would get almost 20% more exercises, right?
Yeah. No, I love it, man.
All we know, it works. Yep. It has worked for the tests that we've done, and we want to do it as long as people are willing to try it. We want to keep on doing it.
Yeah.
Heck yeah. No, it's coming. It's the future. It's smarter. So anyway, now we're getting into the meat and potatoes of the reason we've called this meeting. Join me on the YouTube channel, link in bio, scroll to the bottom, join us. The reason that we've called this meeting, that we're recording this podcast, which is the unveiling of something that's gonna change the game. It's gonna add a lot of value. It's gonna be something the industry's never seen before, which just tends to be what we do. And this special event is titled the Executive Protection Forum, y'all. So the EP Forum is here now. I'm going to let the guys break into it, but we've got an amazing lineup of instructors, of people that are going to share, people that are going to have conversations with agents, no matter where you're at on the spectrum within your career right now, whether you're a decision maker, you're a project manager, you're an agent in the field, you're trying to get into the field. This event's going to have something for you, and the lineup will blow your mind. So that's what we're here to talk about. It's going to be taking place this December on the 8th, right before the Close Protection Conference. I'll let you take it away, Christian. Dig into it a little bit.
All right. Well, just had to make sure I had some notes up here. The EP Forum. First, people will probably ask, why are we doing this? So, for the people who don't know, I was one of the original founders of IPSB when we went from the two schools running their own conference to a joint conference. And I think we've done a great job getting from kind of like a small conference to being a real conference. Yeah. And on the side of that, we also on the 8th used to run a shooting event. And that's always great. Last year we had almost 100 people, or last time we ran the conference, we had almost 100 people at the shooting event, and we had almost 250, some would say more, to the mixer later on in the evening. And one of the things we were always talking about is, where do the 150 people go that don't go to the shooting event and don't go to and come in for the mixer? And at the same time, if you look at what has happened in the world, I'm sure everybody by now has figured out there was a pandemic.
Right.
So we skipped the conference last year and we're back this year. And EP has become bigger than it ever was. We're all more busy than we ever was. There are more practitioners than there ever were. So between the three of us, we kind of got this idea that it would be great to do an event the first day of the conference. At this, I know apparently this year we didn't really know, but have figured out here last minute that there's a couple of other events that kind of coincide with us. But I'm sure we'll figure that out and work that out. But one of the things that we talked about was that all these practitioners that is coming in are hungry for more than the 2 days of conference that IPSB offer. and we kind of wanted to see if it's possible for us to do a side conference where we have a strong line of speakers who speak about other topics than are spoken about at the conference itself, right?
Yeah.
So that's kind of what we're trying to do, and it's hopefully an event that'll be exciting. It'll be dynamic. It'll be very, very interactive.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of in a workshop format, and it'll be fast moving.
Very fast.
And we're super excited about it. So I hope that that people are going to be as excited about it as we are.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely, man. I would have to agree. Like the lineup is heavy, and we'll get into that in a minute. I think it also represents an opportunity for people to have options, So if you're not going to the shooting event, and maybe your corporate culture is one that doesn't really, really want you or believe in or support or whatever that stuff, you're going to have another option to be able to go and get a power-packed day of learning and networking and interactive content. Because I think the format that we have for this event is going to be fast and furious, but it's going to make for a lot of really good conversations. And we're using some technology to make sure that we can have those really good conversations. And that's what I'm really excited about. So that way we can really meet the needs of the guys who are just getting into the industry, want to get in the industry. Even if you're not coming to the Close Protection Conference, you don't have to be going to the larger event to come to the smaller one-day event. It's perfectly worth it to drive down there and link up, because remember, guys, network. They say your network is your net worth, but the reality of business is it's the commerce of relationships. That's really what it is. Everything good and bad in your game is going to come through a relationship. It's not what you know, not even who you know, it's who knows you. That's really like how you level up in this game for real, actually, right? So that's what these events represent an opportunity to do. And when are you ever going to be in a room and have access to people at this level? So that stuff's priceless. But anyways, Pablo, what do you think about it? Or kick it, Christian?
Well, I think it's a very interesting opportunity, because you have several concepts going on at the same time. It's a moment where we're all going to converge at the same place. We're all going to be in Vegas. We're there with the mindset that we're going to learn something new. And the thing about what we've talked about is not so much as an alternative, but something completely different, right? Something where you are close to the presenters, where you're going to get an opportunity to ask your questions. We're going to use technology instead of having very little time for questions, which is always the case, right? We're gonna introduce new technologies. We're gonna introduce things that will make this pace a lot faster. Will let you interact with the person that's in front of you, and so that you can get a different kind of information, something more personal. I would think, right?
Exactly.
That's what we're shooting for, right?
I totally agree. And one of the things that that is always hard when you speak at a conference or you sit on a panel or whatever, once you are done and you kind of come out and kind of mingle with everybody, there's always a million questions. And some of the questions that you get are some of the best questions you've had all day, and you really wish you could share it with the rest of the audience, right? So by adding this electronic and technology, it'll be possible for the audience to ask questions as the conference goes on and as the speakers go on and stuff like that. And I'm sure we'll do a lot of kind of like presentation and promotion about how this is going to work and how you're going to present the questions and all of that as we go and get closer to the event. But I think it's exciting, and I think with a little bit of luck, we can attract even more people from the executive protection community, the security community, and people who have interest in this, right? And then it's in everybody's interest, because that'll make the whole industry grow as a combined unit, right? So I think this is a really, really, really exciting thing. And I think, somehow the EP gods were with us when we started planning this, because we've been lucky enough to have a really, really good lineup of speakers, and a lot of speakers who haven't spoken before. I'm sure most of the world that comes to IPSB is tired of hearing me speak, because I've been speaking for so long, and it's time to get some new interactive people on stage that can really really rock the boat and give us new information, right? And I think we've been pretty lucky. So I hope this will work, but we'll see.
I mean, I'm sure. I mean, I'm so sure of it because the value is there, man. Once people see the value, and you guys, if you're listening, you will see a link in the chat. I just threw the link to the page where you can see actually who we have coming. You can sign up. You can grab your tickets. I think the value is. And for folks who aren't familiar with our speakers, I guess let's dig into the speakers list a little bit, and just kind of let them know who we have. I'll talk about a few of them, and then you guys can talk about a few of them. The first one that I'm really excited about is we've got the infamous Elijah Shaw coming down. And when's the last time you guys got to listen to Elijah Shaw, man? He's the man. He's been out there on the road, icon, his tribe has been, huge in our industry. They've been doing big things, acting, singing talent. If you Google Elijah Shaw, you'll see him on HBO, in the big leagues talking about what he does and venue security. He's been operating at the top of the game for years. Send it.
Elijah is really the man. I remember the first time I met him was at a conference in Baltimore. And people who's been around for as long as I have remember that conference. And already back then, he was on the head of using Instagram and Facebook to promoting himself. I barely knew what it was back then.
He's ahead of the game.
So much props to Elijah for that, because he really was one of the pioneers in brand building and stuff like that. So it'll be super exciting. I think that's so cool.
When I was in the digital space, I was just like, bodyguard, executive protection, and he was the first guy that popped up. And I remember this. I remember being like, you know what? I hope I can be like this one day. I remember being like, I hope I can like look at the impact, and it gave me an iconic person to be like, yo, I need to build something digital like this is what the industry needs. He's explaining how to do an advance. He's this is actually going to really help me, because I was looking for how to do the work. I just got out of the Marine Corps and I was fresh in the game. So, to be able to bring him into the game and share the stage with him. And he's a great person. Like, he's a personal friend. We talk on a regular basis. He's been on the podcast multiple times. He did the episode Own Your Space, and I think it stands as one of our best podcast episodes ever. That Highlander comment is legendary. But when there's two EP guys in the same room, it's almost like an episode of Highlander. There can only be one. But yeah, so I'm really excited to learn from him and have him up here with us. Let's see.
It's very exciting. Also, I've never met Elijah myself. Yeah. I've read a lot about him. I've followed him for a long time. As you said, he has been in social media forever, but his book was so good, and there are so many questions that come from his book. Then it's now on Audible. You can actually listen to it, and there are so many questions. And this is like a great opportunity, because it's kind of like a face-to-face, an opportunity to ask those questions. For me, I'm very much looking forward to meeting Elijah for the first time. And he is a legend.
Yeah,
we should try and see, Byron, if you have room, or if one of us have room on social media or whatever, if we could do a pre-call with Elijah and a bunch of the other instructors to kind of set the stage for what they're going to talk about, and open the mic for questions and all of these things, right? So I think that'll be great, man. I can't wait, but we can
do another live.
It's cool. It's really cool.
We can, whoever's available, we can bang out some live streams on the way into the event so you guys can taste the magic a little bit. It'll be good. I'm looking forward to that. Let's do that. And then let's see, we've got Jackie Davis, who's also going to be coming over. Top female agent in the UK. Okay.
Oh yeah.
They made a movie about her called Close. You can go watch it tonight on Netflix. Now, I'm an action movie connoisseur, so I was a little skeptical. I didn't know what I was signing up for when I went to watch the movie, but it is actually a really good movie about a female executive protection agent / bodyguard, depending on what school you're from. And it's about real world events that she actually did execute, out there in the field. She's an amazing woman. She's been on our podcast. She runs an amazing shop, and her content isn't just for female executive protection agents. She runs a huge shop. She's running Very high number of details in Europe right now. And I'm not going to repeat the number she mentioned to me because it was such a high number. I was like, wow. Salt of the earth, fantastic person, fantastic sense of humor. But she knows her stuff. We all have a lot to learn from her. So I was real excited when she said she would come and speak to us and spend some time with us.
Especially when you travel as an executive protector, it's very important to understand the mindset of different places, right? It's like the first time I came as in the security industry to the US, everything changes, everything is different, the motivations are different, the way you do things are different, the way people interact with each other is different than what I was used to. And I mean, if you go to Europe, well, Christian, you're very seasoned on that, but I bet it's a complete different game as well as what we do here.
No, it's one of those things that people don't always know if they go to other countries. At the end of the day, our goal is the same. Our techniques is for the most part the same. Our language is for the most part the same. But every different country add their own culture to it, right?
Yep.
And that means that no matter how you do it, in some countries it just works out. But if you're really good at it, you actually pick up a lot of things, right? And if you ever get a chance to work with an agent like Jackie, I'm sure there's a million things that you can learn, right? Because when you think about it, just by the sheer number of clients, the sheer number of agents, the sheer number of interactions that she does, she will have so much knowledge. I used to have people that worked for me that were 100% travel guys, right? And they became so good because being 100% travel guys means that they work with this team Monday to Friday. Next week they work with this team. Next week they work with this team, right? And we all do it differently. But these guys get to absorb how everybody does it in different cultures, right? And that means that all of a sudden, if you can pick these things up, you learn all the things that can be hard, and you get over the barriers that you sometimes have, understanding your clients, understanding why your clients do what they do, and stuff like that, right? So I think it's really amazing that we got Jackie to come over, and I think it's really amazing that we can start to kind of like get Europe, the US, South America, Latin America, and all of this more and more together. And I think it's been one of the biggest things that IPSB has done for years is get people from different countries to come together and learn from each other.
Across the pond, 100%, because the industry is international. And if you've been in the game and you've been operating at high levels, you know you're going to have to play that international game. And you need to know what's going down over there, especially over there where they have different permits. And, you know, being in executive protection, it's still like the Wild West over here. It's underdeveloped with regards to the way it is, relative to the way it is over there in Europe. So there's so much we can learn from those folks over there. It's
really funny because right now we're talking about the standards in the industries over here, right? And there are different people who have different opinion about that, and nobody really want to hear my opinion on it because at the end of the day, I've been through it 4 times with different standards, regulations, and stuff like that. Yeah. And you know, it doesn't change much because we all make the same mistakes, right? And we've been through it in Europe. I mean, we in Denmark, where I come from originally, we got standards for security guards, standards for executive protection, standards for all of these things for more than 30 years ago, right? Wow. And that means we now lived with these standards for 30 years. And I leave the outcome alone because I think standards are important. But we have to remember that if it's not driven by the customers, it doesn't matter what we feel because nobody has to live up to the standards, right? Yeah. And if we really want to go into this debate of standards and whatever over here, let's listen to the Brits. Let's listen to the people who lived with standards for a long time so we can kind of figure out how to do it, right? And I think if we do it right,
it can be
having people come over and maybe set up some side meetings or whatever would be a great way of learning from people's experiences with these things. So I think there's a lot of opportunities in this.
I love that. I couldn't agree more. Who do you guys want to break out next? I got another one. I'll talk about another one later. Who do you want to hit next?
I mean, I'm pretty excited that we have some of that, in my opinion. I mean, I'm 52, that represent the younger generation of executive protection. We have a couple of our good friends and colleagues that are coming on. We got a go from Joe La Sorsa, which has always been one of my I wouldn't say favorite people, but kind of like one of my favorites anyway in this industry, because Joe represents a whole new, in my mind, kind of generation of people that has broken into the industry, took over his family business, has made it tremendously successful. He has added a lot of new things. He has fought for his position. He has kind of carved out a little piece of the industry for him. And in my mind, he does a tremendous job. And he kind of does it in his own way. He's not really influenced by anybody. He chooses to be his own guy and his own way of doing stuff. And I love that. You and I have talked about that so many times, Byron.
Oh, yeah.
And, I love the people who kind of swim against the stream a little bit and make something out of it. So I'm excited to have Joe, and I know the rest of you guys knows him as well.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I've been hearing that name, Joe Lasorsa, when I was working the Cali circuit, and then I transitioned into Florida. His name was big back then when I was coming up in the game. So I remember back in the day, and now, here we are, we're about to do this event, and he's a salt of the earth guy. He's a good guy, when I've met him and spoke with him and on different occasions, I've always been like, man, this is a good dude. And I've always wanted to do something with him. And so when it comes to the Florida training circuit, and things like that, getting that exposure and getting a feel for that world on the other coast, man, it's going to be big. It's going to be big. It's powerful.
And you know what? Not only that, I've always wanted to go to one of Joe's training events. He has a 7-day that I've been dying to go for a long time to get to see how he does things. I've heard nothing but good comments. And to be honest, the last 2 years have been dead in most regards because of COVID, right? But the last year, which he has been very active, I have not been able to find the time to actually break away from my day-to-day to go and attend his training. And I've regretted that for a long time. And for me, this is a great opportunity to be able to get a little bit maybe, and I mean, it's not, of course, comparable to the 7 days, but it's, if I don't have the time to go to the 7 days, this is like the next best thing, because I'll be able to be there with them, ask the questions, listen to his philosophy, the way he sees things, the way he assembles his things, and I mean, be able to reach out, ask the questions that I want to ask, and I mean, it's not the training, but I mean, it's something. It's better than not being able to break away from my day-to-day to go actually see him, right? Yeah. So that for me was one of the best news that I've got, that we got from Christian, was that Joe had agreed to come and partake in this. That was amazing.
Yeah, no, 100%.
Yeah, I think that'll be exciting. So, yeah, Joe's always great. Were you about to say something? Did I cut you off there? I saw you.
No, I was going to go with the next name.
Raise your hand. You want to speak?
I was going to kick our next guy out. Let's see. We've got Caleb Gilbert.
Oh, yeah.
Go ahead, Christian. Take it. Caleb Gilbert's the man right now. He's been the man since from that time, as we say in the Bahamas, man. I actually, way back in the day, we were on the same detail, like 2 ships passing in the night. And then the Cove Pro, helping break that out with Ivor and all those guys and all y'all back in the day. I mean, he's done some seminal work. He's done some really groundbreaking, industry-changing work. And he's at it again right now on a number of different levels, for those who know. But he's and he did an amazing episode on our podcast about leadership and mindset and what it takes to win in this industry. A powerful speaker. And really a powerful guy to have out there in the field. So definitely excited to listen to him, man.
I'm excited about it because in my world, a guy like Caleb is, I've always had this saying with people that it's very, very hard to beat passion, and you'll never be successful at anything you're not passionate about.
Yep.
And Caleb has by far been one of the most passionate people about executive protection. He's had, like everybody else, he's had ups and downs in his career, and he has ups and downs in his development and whatever. And, that's really what makes us. On top of that, I don't think I know anybody who has personally engaged and mentored and helped out and keep tab on and one of the persons that people can always call and stuff like that, like Caleb, right? And on top of that, he's developing stuff that are truly unique. So I think it's very, very important that people like Caleb get a window to talk to the industry and be out there, right? And again, he's one of the guys who kind of like cross all the bridges, if you know what I mean by that. One of the things that I think is one of the most important things we need to strive for in the future is that as fast as the EP industry is growing, we can only grow if we kind of have networks and help each other out and kind of attack it instead of fighting and being competitors or whatever. We should attack all of these things in a positive way that lift each other up and
together
and help each other out, right? And I think Caleb is a true example of that. So I'm very excited for him to being one of the guys who joins up.
Yeah, and I think that's really been one of my missions is uniting the tribes, man, because we know our industry can get so tribal sometimes, and it's like, look, guys, a rising tide lifts all ships at sea. That's been the thing I've been saying the whole time. Together, we really can achieve more. The better we make each other, the better we make the industry, the more we can charge, the higher the quality of the deliverables. It's just better for everyone. And I think another powerful thing about guys like Caleb is that he's been out there in the field doing it. He's not one of these, he doesn't have like a platform like I have. He's not one of these guys that's been out there teaching and instructing and doing all this stuff all the time. He's been out there doing it. So this might be your one and only chance to come and learn from a guy who's out there operating literally at the top of the game and making things happen and putting things together right now that are going to shape the way we do things for the next decade in this industry. And he's already done it before. He's doing it again right now. So, what I love about a lot of these speakers is you may never have another opportunity to hear them talk on all things executive protection. And you probably haven't heard them speak on executive protection before, unless maybe you heard one of my podcast episodes or something, so it's really an amazing opportunity. And then obviously the networking and the interactive aspect of it is going to make it even more valuable.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And the one thing you just said about Caleb, it's very important. He's not big on platforms. He's not big on social media, yet everyone knows who he is.
Yet everyone knows who he is. That's big.
That's kind of like amazing, right? And I've been with Caleb at the ASIS EP Council when it was still alive. Now it's the EP community. Mm-hmm. Everyone would turn to him, ask him questions. He was kind of like the guy to go. But yet he's still not very active on social media. So that's got to that tells you a lot about the character of a man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Great point, Pablo. That's really cool.
That's heavy. That street credit means a whole lot.
Yep.
It means a whole lot. So we got Caleb coming in. Let's see who else we got on this lineup. It isn't y'all. We're just still warming up. We still unwinding.
Hey, my man, Aaron Malden.
Aaron Malden, the infamous.
I'm actually here because of Aaron Malden, probably.
Yeah, there's a lot. He's impacted my career and my brand on a very high level as well. From back in the day. And he's doing some things. But go ahead, Pablo. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No. I mean, we met. All three of us met at the same time, and it was the same day I met Aaron Malden. And back then, there was a client of Christian's that wanted to do some driver training, and in front of me, Christian told Aaron that he needed to go down to Mexico to see what we were doing, kind of like to assess the situation a little bit. We were starting out in the U.S. as well.
Yeah.
But Aaron came down. He had a blast. I've never met him before, other than what we had at the Protector Symposium, and we had a blast. He was very good at what he did, and he is the one who's been introducing me to most of the people that I know. He was the one who reintroduced us, Byron. He reintroduced me to Christian. He's the one who's been pushing all these programs. Yeah. Every time, ever since I met him, he was talking about doing this EP forum. We met at one of the courses at Willow Springs, and he was the one that was always talking about when we're going to do this. We need to do this. This is what we need to do.
He's a visionary, man.
He is a visionary. He knows a lot about the social interaction of executive protection, which I admire very much. And of course, he has a lot of people that love him, a lot of people that don't like him very much because of his presence in social media. But I mean, you got to respect the man. He knows a lot. I respect him personally a lot. And I'm
You know,
very glad that he pushed us into finally doing this.
and you know,
100%.
Byron, or
Send it.
Pablo, you touched about something here that's really funny, and I know we all kind of laugh at it on the side. You say people either like you or hate you. It doesn't matter, right? And
Get
Aaron is
up
one of the guys who rises over it all the time,
all
right?
day.
And when you think about it, yeah, there are people that can complain about this and complain about that and whatever. But a guy who does what it is that he's passionate about, and like I mentioned before, you can't beat passion, right? Aaron is one of the most passionate people
He
I
really
know
is.
about executive protection. I can still, 30 years after I started, get into a discussion about bandage in a med kit with Aaron. And believe it or not, it's actually one of those values that I tribute very, very high,
Oh yeah.
right? Because it's so easy for us to concentrate about the business. It's so easy for us to concentrate about making money. It's so easy for us to concentrate about all the great things we want to do. But you cannot forget the passion for the job, right? Aaron and I still to this day work details together, and I love every minute of it. And
Yeah. Good.
it's one of those things that are really funny because he still teaches me stuff and I teach him stuff, right? And it's kind of awesome. And along the way, Aaron has picked up a lot of points that I'm sure he can help talk about, and new people will get a lot out of it, and older people I'm sure will get a lot out of it as well, because Aaron don't speak a lot on conferences and forums and stuff like that because he's always busy, right? So it's
Oh
a
yeah.
true pleasure to have him with us as well.
But
100%.
one thing that's very important is if you want to learn how to build relationships in this industry, in this country, you
Yeah.
got to talk to Aaron Malden.
Mm.
Because I didn't know who to talk and how to approach people. And he was the one friendly guy that came up and said, you know what, I'll help you out. I'll introduce you. This is my man, Christian. This is my man, Byron. This is my man. And he has introduced me to a lot of people along the way. And people respect him. People trust him. And so if you want to build the relationships and you really, really want to head in that part of the industry, I don't think there's anyone that's better at it than Aaron Malden.
Absolutely. No, he's done amazing things, and the projects he's worked on, and the guys he's trained, and the impact he's had on agents out in the field. He's done a lot, and I can't wait for him to talk about that too. Because I don't know if people really understand the amount of training and programs, and even this new thing that's public knowledge. With the latest thing he's been working on. I'm just gonna let that be where it is. It's groundbreaking stuff, man. And I love watching my young dudes just do awesome stuff, because you catch some static every once in a while, but then they fight in and they keep pushing, and you've got to pave the way, man. All progress depends on the unreasonable man. The reasonable man accepts circumstances. The unreasonable man makes circumstances serve him. So all progress depends on the unreasonable man. I love it. Little Ralph.
There's a similar one from Carlos Castaneda that said the difference between the ordinary man and the warrior is the ordinary man sees everything as either a blessing or a curse, while the warrior sees everything as a challenge.
I love that one. Yes, that's the one I should have said, man. That's great. That's good stuff. Heck yeah. Let's see who else we have here. Oh, here's one that I'm not sure many people know about down here. Steve Somerville. Now, Steve Somerville is with our EPL Canada chapter. So you guys, the EPL brand is branching out, right? So obviously EPL, the US, boom, we're doing the thing. I understand the US market. I bring guys on. We all talk about it. But EPL is branching out to different countries now. I'm lifting up different leaders and chapters in different countries. Sentinel Security Plus is up in Canada. They're going to represent EPL Canada, raise the standards, and really try to positively influence the industry up there. Now, Steve Somerville comes out of their camp. We've had some pretty amazing guys actually come out of Canada. And Steve Somerville talks about use of force, right? So, and it's like the creepy, it's the scary thing about EP. You know what I mean? Are your guys in the field ready? Do they understand how to articulate what they're doing? Do your policies and procedures support intelligent use of force that'll keep you guys out of trouble? After a use of force incident, will will your agent end up being lepers? Will they be separated from their company, their family? Do you know how to articulate what it is you're going to be doing in a way that's going to keep you out of trouble? Are you selling security while you're dealing with people, or are you basically putting yourself in jail? So, and
Wow.
the way he breaks it down, man, I mean, it blows me away. And they do some training up there where you sit across the desk and he interviews you or interrogates you after you get done, doing a use of force during training. And I've got to go through the training with these guys, but it's scary. He reminds me of an eagle. He's got that eagle vibe. So this is going to be something for project managers, detail leaders, company owners to really take a serious look at their SOPs, policies, and procedures and think, are my guys really prepared for the fight after the fight? If they do run into something out there in the field, it's going to be pretty amazing.
And that is a question that we get everywhere. In Mexico, we have had that same question asked. Every time we do an event, people want to know when and how you're able to use force to protect, to do protection. What are going to be the consequences? And if you don't have that clear, I mean, you're in the dark.
You're vulnerable.
It's really funny, Byron, and it's one of the things I've always enjoyed about your symposiums and why I've been such a big fan. I've been doing this for so long, right? And I've had a lot of people work under me. We had exercises where we tried to figure out what are we going to do when somebody has used force. We've used force around the world. We've had good and bad experiences with it and stuff like that, right? And then I can go to your symposium and sit and listen to a guy that knows way more about it than I do, and wish that I had known him 5-10 years ago, because my life would have been so much easier. Right?
So much easier.
And it's really funny because I thought I knew everybody in this business, but every time I go to one of your symposiums, I just got to sit there and go like, man, I'm old, or I'm very narrow-minded, because every time there's 2 or 3 people that I didn't know that are really, really, really good at something within my industry, right? And that's always my biggest takeaways. So I don't know him very well, except when I saw him speak at the last symposium you had, and I looked him up on online afterwards, and I said hi to him down there. So I am beyond excited for this. It's, in my opinion, one of the I don't know. It for me, it's going to be one of the biggest takeaways probably from these 2 conferences that are coming up, because he seems to know his stuff. That's for sure.
An extremely intelligent individual, very an impressive mastery of the English language, and a world-renowned expert witness. So this is what he does Monday through Friday. He takes the stand in the courtroom and he talks about what people are doing out in the field, whether it was good or bad, and he's on cases all the time up there in Canada with regards to use of force. So this is his world, He can take one look at your books and be like, here are your vulnerabilities. So that's going to be huge. And just the topic, gives me chills. As we know, we have teams out in the field right now. So it's something we have to have buttoned up, especially with regards to the hard skills. So I'm really excited about Steve Somerville coming.
Oh, for sure. For sure. So, and who knows? We might be adding a few more guys as we get closer, depending on how the agenda goes and stuff like that. So it'll be exciting, man. But I think we got some really, really good names here.
100%. And you guys listening, if you guys have any questions or anything like that, just feel free to drop them in the chat. I will see them on the side of this live stream. So if you're listening to this on Facebook, on YouTube, or on LinkedIn, you can actually ask questions and I can see them and I'll be able to respond to those as we start to wind down here. But last but not least, ladies and gentlemen, these 3 gentlemen that you're listening to right now will also be giving some presentations while we're out there. And what are you going to be giving yours on, Chris? You want to give them a little taste of the magic? A little
well,
clip?
Let's put it this way. I think it's a little too early to kind of like lift the magic, because I think we need to tighten up the agenda completely before we solidify everything. But hopefully we'll do that next week. And
Nice.
I don't know exactly when we're going to publicize it. But one of the things that people always ask me a lot about is how do I grow, and how do I grow my company to the next level, and what do I need to do to take it to the next level, and all of these things, right? And like I always tell them, you're your own best salesman. You have all the answers. You just need to figure it out. You just have to kind of like roll the dice and figure it out for you, right? So I'm preparing some brand new material about how to do that, and hopefully that's the way the speech is going to go. So I'm excited. I'm really excited. And the good thing about this is maybe we should talk a little bit. How long time do we have left on this?
We have time. We got time on the live stream.
Maybe we should talk a little bit about the format, because one of the things that I'm really excited about, that I was really excited about down in Mexico as well at and your EP summit down there, Pablo,
which was
is
amazing.
The questions that you can get from people, right? Because you have an idea when you speak about what you want to speak about, and hopefully you kind of hit the audience with what they need. But having as much time, and having time before the event, during the event, and even after the event via technology and live in person to ask questions, I'm super excited about. Also, because for me, it makes it exciting, right? Because when you don't know what people is going to ask you, you kind of have the opportunity to get really, really good questions from the audience, right? And absolutely. I'm super excited about that. So yeah,
it also really allows for more questions to come in, right? Because usually when like the format that we've talked about is we want to reduce the amount of time that we give the presenters to actually give out their speech. Instead of giving them the usual 45, 50 minutes, we're going to do that in 30 minutes so that we have more information condensed and we have more time for questions. But even then, when the questions start coming in, if you pass around the microphone, you only have time for 3 or 4 at the most, right? But when you get an app where everybody can submit the questions, you can go one after the other, boom, 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 boom. And then if you're not done, the man that's doing the conference, which by the way, I know you're going to talk about the business of executive protection, Christian, and I have some very, very tough questions for you, because I know you were the man who built the most successful, in my opinion, the most successful executive protection business probably in the world in such a small time. So I'm preparing these questions. But the thing is, if we don't have time to answer all the questions, those questions can be answered on the platform afterwards. And everyone that was in that platform, that was at that conference or at that forum, can actually see the reply. So not all questions have to be answered up on stage, right? And that actually makes it a lot better, and it makes it, it gives an opportunity for everyone's questions to be answered.
100%. There's going to be a social ecosystem supporting the event, you guys. So the questions you have, even if they don't get addressed from the platform, you're going to have a digital place where you can network, as well as also get those questions addressed straight to your cell phone by the people who've been speaking, which is just a tremendous opportunity. So this event, the structure and format and the tools we're using it's into the future. It's something that hasn't been done before out here. It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, it will be. It'll be a lot of fun, that's for sure.
And then let's see. So the structure, I think, is awesome. The networking is going to be amazing. Like I said, even if you guys aren't going to the Close Protection Conference, this is a great opportunity, a great event to come down just to check out for one day.
Should we talk about the venue?
Yeah, let's talk about the venue. Send it.
Because that's very interesting. That's another thing that hasn't been done before. We're going to use a very fancy movie theater.
Yes.
With the presentation up on the big screen.
Oh yeah.
Full surround sound.
Oh yeah.
And so it's going to be very comfortable, right? Because movie theaters are designed for that. So that's also a thing that I'm excited about.
Yeah, I'm excited that I can eat popcorn while I watch the speakers.
Absolutely. Popcorn, hot dogs, nachos, soda, all you want.
And also, we're going to record this event. So whether you won't have to sit there and drown in your notes while you're listening to this event. We're going to have it recorded. We're going to be sending it out afterwards. So you will have the opportunity to have access to the information. That's another huge, huge, huge thing for people to know while they're sitting in that room. They can be there. They can be present. It won't be like drinking out of a fire hose and you're one time to ever get to see it. And I think that's a huge value add, because the event will stay with you. as you buy your tickets and all that stuff. And I put links in the description. I can put it down there again for you guys who want to go check out the order page, get your tickets. This event's going to fill up. We do have limited space for this venue. So don't mess around. We only got about a month. We do have limited space. Everyone coming to the event. We haven't, and this is the first exposure, y'all. We haven't hit our email lists yet. We haven't let it go big on our websites. We haven't really posted about it. So you guys are getting a front row seat to the unveiling of the EP forum that's coming up. You know, this is going to change the game.
Well, I hope it's going to change the game, but I also hope it's going to help all the events that kind of goes on at the same time, right? Because it is really all about attracting new people that's not necessarily new to the industry, but hasn't participated in events like this before, right? And kind of want to come and either do the one-day thing and do the whole-day thing, and giving the people that are already going a little bit more and extra opportunities and extra choices and stuff like that. So it will be exciting, I'm sure. So,
Yo, I've got a question over here. Go ahead, Pablo. Did you have something you want to add?
No, I'm excited.
Yeah, man. No, it's going to be good. And there's another surprise that we're not going to tell you guys about on this call. There is another surprise we're not going to tell you about on this call that is going to, I promise you, blow your socks off. I guarantee you will be impressed, and you will be very glad you got your ticket, because this is something the game has not seen.
Let's put it this way. It's going to change the EP industry forever.
Literally. You're going to never want to miss out on one of these.
This is a tipping point that you don't want to miss.
100%. And let's see. I have a question. Hunter here. Do I have to have an EP guard card? You're young. You're looking to get into the industry. And you just want to see if you can go and soak up the knowledge. Absolutely. 100%. This is a great event for you to come, soak up the knowledge, soak up the information, learn about the industry from the best in the business, and share the room with people who are in the industry, meet people who are in the industry, ask your questions. You know, so if you're new to the industry and you're like, well, I'm thinking about doing this with my life, I would say there's almost no better place and time to come and get a feel for everything, and just come to the one-day event, learn everything you can, meet everyone you can, and then you'll also get to benefit from the surprise we have that's also locked and loaded that we're gonna change the game with as well. So everyone is invited.
Actually, and to answer your question, you don't need a card. You don't need anything. All you need to do is want to learn something new and be willing to meet new people, and you're always welcome, right?
Absolutely, 100%. And like we said, this event isn't to compete with the IPSB. This is an adjunct. This is an add-on auxiliary event to give you an opportunity to get more value if you're already going to Vegas, and if you're looking for something that is maybe an easier entry point to come and be around the industry, shake hands with some new people, hear from some people you've never heard from before and may never hear from again. This is the event for you to just come, boom, because I know so many of us are busy. I wasn't able to go to the Close Protection Conference for years because I was working, I was always hammering. So to be able to pop in for one day, sometimes I'd come shoot the shooting competition and then go back to work, so to be able to come in and just get this and roll out, I think it gives agents a lot of really powerful options to still elevate their game for sure.
Also, we have Larry says, I'm interested in hearing about the soft skills of EP. Well, most of what you're going to hear here, what you're going to listen to is about the soft skills, because you get the wizards of the soft skills, which is Elijah Shaw, and then you had Ora Mildon as well. Byron, you're going to talk about soft skills, and most of what you're going to talk about. I'm going to talk about a mindset, and I want to talk about our mistakes, what has cost lives, and that's all got to do with soft skills. Building a business has also got to do with soft skills. So, Larry, I believe you're gonna get a lot of what you want to hear about.
100%. My topic is social dynamics of executive protection, the hidden art of success in this industry. I've seen awesome guys come and go. I've seen guys that I would right now stand shoulder to shoulder with and go to war with, that I can trust and have my back, but I've seen them lose in this industry. I've seen them get sent home. I've taken off in private jets, looking out the window with those guys, holding their backpack in front of them as we've had to leave them there on the tarmac because of social dynamics issues. I've seen, as Christian West said during one of our podcasts, it can be the most unfair industry in the world at times. So if you don't got the social dynamics, you can have the best karate chop, Judy chop. You could be a ninja, a Viking, a Jedi. It will not matter. You won't make it in this game. So that's why that's the topic I love to talk about.
Oh, for sure. For sure. And one way or another, you absolutely need to master it.
One way or another.
Yep.
That's the truth. So, yeah, y'all. Well, we got anything else we want to hit before we close the call? Any other questions you guys have? Put them in the comments on your social media platform, and we will hit you. Let's see here. We got Hunter with something else. I've listened to every podcast and continue to listen to them over and over again. Learn as much as possible. This is my life. Just fully committing, being prepared before hitting the field. Hunter, you're a wise man. That's the way to approach this game. Learn everything you can and then start getting in the game. And this is how you start getting in the game. You can turn your resume in, you can do all those things, but remember, this game isn't about who you know, it's about who knows you. And these rooms are the way you get people to get to know you, brother. So I hope to shake your hand, man. I think I put the link down there to get your tickets and all that stuff, but I hope to shake your hand at this event. I hope to be able to meet a lot of you guys from the digital world at these events, man. It's always an honor.
Yeah, for sure. No, you know what, Byron? I think I'm good. I think we've talked a lot about this, so
yes.
let's get on with it.
All right, y'all. Awesome. So the event order page is up. Remember, there's a lot of people that do you have anything else to add before I close it out, Pablo?
No, we're good. I think we've gone over everything.
Awesome. So the event page is up. You can find that at events.epspecialist.com. You'll see Vegas Forum there. Click the link, check it out. We're going to start blasting it. You'll start seeing it everywhere here pretty soon. We do have limited space. There are a lot of people in the game, a lot of people in the industry, but the ones that excel in the industry are the ones that do the work. Why? Because this game is so much more than just a job, y'all. You know what I'm going to say. It really, really comes down to your lifestyle. So don't get left behind. And I look forward to training with you guys and learning with you guys and just fellowshipping with you guys. And really, really don't forget the surprise we have. I really can't wait to do that with you guys as well as we get into this event. So, all right, ladies and gentlemen, with that, we will call it a night. Thank you so much for your time, your attention. It's been an honor and privilege. And until next time, protected by nature and by trade, we will see you on the next piece of content. Out. Boom.
See you guys. Bye.
Yo, if you're a private security professional wanting to take your game to the next level, go to executiveprotectiontrainingday.com to check out my personal success package for private security professionals. Check it out, executiveprotectiontrainingday.com. And remember, y'all, hard skills do save lives, but soft skills get you paid. Boom. Boom. And to support this podcast, go to executiveprotectionlifestyle.com and contribute to our Patreon account. That Patreon account is what helps me make this podcast possible, contributing to this brand, what we're doing here, making it so that I can bring better guests on, making it so that we can plan more events and just expand the contribution to the private security industry and also to making America a safer place. Do whatever you can, contribute whatever you can, because it makes all of these things possible. Thanks for those contributions. Yo, and before we go, I got a shout out to the sponsors, starting out with Primary Weapon Systems, PWS. They truly are the evolution of the rifle. Use Byron for 10% off. Grayman & Company, the most comfortable tactical suits in the game. Use Byron for 10% off with them. Until the next podcast, this is Byron Rodgers, protected by nature and by trade. Out. Boom.